Servus, Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. I just read a very interesting article in a German online newspaper, and it was about the plans for the upcoming budget of the Federal Republic of Germany for the next year, 2020. That means it's a debate or a decision in Parliament about the passing of the next budget. That means how much can the federal government spend in their different ministries, in the different fields. And we see that compared to the first budget that was ever passed by a government that under the leadership of Angela Merkel, that was the budget for 2006, we see an increase in the overall budget sum of around 100 billion euros per year. And that a billion is 10 to the ninth euros. Yeah, in German it's called Milliarde in English, or it is a billion. So 100 of those would mean 10 to the 11th euro. Yeah, euros, just to avoid any confusion because of translation errors here. All right, so of course, this kind of news is traditionally to the surprise or the bewilderment of foreigners is seen in Germany as something positive. Yeah, this is the kind of patriotism that many Germans have. Look how much money our state spends. Look how many taxes we raise. Look how much money the state takes away from us, hardworking people. Aren't we a great country that is so powerful? So many Germans are actually proud of the fact that the budget is going up. But what does that mean? It just means, first of all, our economy is doing well, because if the economy wouldn't go well, you couldn't actually take away that much money from the people. And that is, of course, workers, entrepreneurs, and corporations. That is basically where the money is coming from. And a state employee or the government, they don't make money. It's the people who create the wealth, and the government taxes them, and then it can spend that tax money in the form of a budget in their ministries. So that just means, I said, Germans are proud of the fact that we raise more taxes, and also now that we spend more taxes. And where are these increases actually? In what fields do we see them? We see them, for example, in the welfare state, the Ministry for Work and Social aspects, or for social, the welfare state basically. Yeah, we see in this department a large blowing up of the budget sum of the spending, and that is due to the fact, and this is of course not, the article doesn't talk about that, of course, it's uncomfortable, they don't want to talk about this, but even though I sound like a broken record from time to time, I want to be that corrective that says what the article in this corporate newspaper doesn't say, and that is of course that not only are the welfare payments increasing, it is of course the most the most pronounced, or the most important change between then and now, is that the circle of people, the groups of eligible people that can get welfare in Germany, has increased. Back then you needed to be an unemployed German or registered alien or something. But now you can even enter our country in violation of our laws, and a short time later you are already eligible for welfare, and that was not the case in that form 13 years ago. So that is of course something that they don't want to talk about it, but it is one of the biggest reasons why we spend more in this department. And while people are rightfully so, I think it's something positive. They are celebrating the fact that we didn't have to take on new debt this year and also for the next year, but it is worth examining what we are spending money on and what kind of liabilities we are adopting, namely these people who shouldn't be in our country and who demand monthly tribute payments, and they might demand that not only angrily but also violently in the future, as in some cases they already do now. And that means if the tax revenue will not be in that will not be that high in the future, we will run into a problem. And then, of course, you have the departments like the interior and the youth and stuff like that. And here are there is a type of spending that is hidden in these departments that I would call a build-up or a increase of the surveillance state, of the police state. So this is if you want people to go through everyone's Facebook comments in order to find out who shows signs of wrong thing, then you need to hire a lot of women into the police force, obviously. And also, if you want to read everybody's emails, yeah, you need to invest in infrastructure and also in manpower there. So that is a very questionable way of spending the money, but this is what we're doing now. Also, we see a large increase in our defense budget. That is actually something that would be good in another universe in which we would actually buy equipment and train soldiers in order to defend our country and maybe our allies also, of course. But no, this is not how we spend this money. I actually talked about that in detail when I made a video about the newly elected head of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, who was for a long time Secretary of Defense, even though she's a woman and she never served in the army, and she also has had no prior exposure to defense-related topics. And just like the current Secretary for Defense, Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer, AKK, also a woman that never served and that has no idea about defense. So where are these payments going? Of course, they go to external consulting agencies, because these women not only wanted to avoid responsibility for their decisions, this is why they pay an organization that basically makes some PowerPoint slides and takes away the pressure of coming up with an informed decision by themselves. These agencies. And then, of course, in the future, they can always point to that study that they bought for, or that they had done for 100 million euros or whatever, and they can say, oh look, these consultants, they said we should do this, and it's all in the PowerPoint slides. So I'm not to blame. Very, very easy to make money in this way. If you are just a hired consultant for the Department of Defense, you are very easy, very convenient for both sides, and the people who are screwed in the end are of course the German taxpayers, because nothing gets done for the defense of our country, and a lot of money is burned in the process. The only thing that was produced was Excel spreadsheets and PowerPoint slides. That is not to the benefit of Europe, not to the benefit of Germany. It is just filling the pockets of greedy consultants. Okay, so this is a little glimpse into the plans for the federal budget next year. And what I find positive is that we don't need any new debt, but the interest rates are so low that you have to ask yourselves, wouldn't it be wiser to actually make some new debt in this clown worldish economic environment? Aren't you basically the stupid one if you're not taking on new debt right now? But of course, all this can change in the future. Generally, I'm for low debt, but you can see that this is not a conservative government also. I talked in a recent video about conservatives. The CDU is traditionally seen still by most people in Germany as the conservative party, which is not true, of course, but this is the the perception in the electorate and in the public in general. But you see that in both coalitions back then, 2006 and also right now in 2019, the Secretary of Finance is a social democrat. But back then it was Per Steinbrück, now it is Olaf Scholz, and both of them social democrats in a Merkel-led government. So you can see how conservative she is. Normally you would say you want as little government or state as possible and as much as necessary, but she's doing the opposite. She tries to blow up the budget of the federal government as far as she can, and and she does that at the moment by new ridiculous taxes. So increasing the taxes for the people is the way to do it. And next year it might be new debt when, I don't know, it becomes maybe more expensive to do so. This is all speculation, of course, but I cannot celebrate the plans for this budget. To conclude, I see that a lot of money is spent for um, things that don't make any sense, that don't have any benefit to our country. And if it's going to people in the form of welfare or redistribution of wealth via the welfare state, many times, yeah, roughly 50% of the welfare recipients in Germany are now not even Germans. So that is something that has to be talked about. And this is also not good for the country. It's very bad for the country. And they sometimes even send part of the money home. So this money, it leaves Germany. It is not spent in the community. It's not spent in the country. It is a loss. It is a tribute payment to foreign powers, effectively. All right, so that was my perspective on this article. Link in the description below, as always. If you like this material and you want to see more of it, like, share, and subscribe. Also, consider becoming a patron or making a donation. Links in the descriptions down below, as always. Be safe, take care, and I have my first workday here in wonderful China now ahead of me. Going down to breakfast soon. See you soon. Bye bye. Servus, Kameraden.